Hey guys, I got a 2019 GMC Yukon XL. It's got the 5.3 in it. These vehicles have just been disastrous. GM, you guys have lost so much respect. I will never touch another GM for a long time. Toyota's the only way to go. Even Toyota's starting to slip a little bit at the top now. They're just making vehicles just complete garbage now. You got to stick with these old girls behind me. Those are the real winners. Anyway, back to the original subject here. So this one, I have replaced the cams and the lifters in this. It had the famous lifter tick. Absolute nightmare of a job. Very just disappointed in this overall. Today, we are replacing the EVAP in the rear. These apparently are very famous for the EVAPs going out in the rear especially. While I'm doing the EVAP, the heater core is right next to it. You got to disconnect it anyway. Just throw a new one in. I mean, the heater cores are, they're about the same material, so, might as well just go ahead and take them both out at the same time, replace them, put new ones in there, so it's less to worry about. I'm going to give you guys a brief walkthrough of an overview of how I did this, what to look for, some of the tool specs, things that I found that might make the job a little easier. So with that, let's get started. Starting out, I'm going to go ahead and say that the back, you have the rear tray back here in the back for the storage, your spare tire changing parts and stuff like that. I would go ahead and take that guy out first. You'll notice I got it over here in the ground. It has two sides to this flat piece. You're going to have these little pucks right here, one on each side. One over here on this side as well. Let's see, right there. You have another one right there. Take those two guys out. Then on the front of these guys, these are all just pop-up tabs, so you just got to get under there and really put some mass behind it, pull it up. They pop right out, and then this whole unit will just slide right out. Put that to the side. From there, what I did is I went ahead and just got this weather stripping off the back. Just pulled it off. You'll have another piece right here that you can just pop right up. After that, went ahead and moved over to the corner panel, started loosening this corner panel up. There's a couple little tabs you got to be mindful of. There's also a cigarette lighter and a couple of control module tabs in the back you got to pay attention to. You got to loosen this top piece up, pull this down. That'll give you enough access to be able to take this corner pillar piece out. From there, went ahead and moved up to the front. Down in the front here, you're going to have a little trim piece right here. That guy just pops straight up. Moving inside the cab, I went ahead and disconnected the top mount for the seat belt. It's going to be a star bit. I'll give you the size here in a second. You might be able to get away with leaving that on there. I just found it more convenient. Some guys will take the rest of the seat belts out. I did not find that necessary. So you're going to go ahead and take this pillar piece off, this corner piece right here, and then that'll give you the main access to this center main plastic piece. The one thing I'll be mindful about is before you just yank it completely off, there is a tab right here that goes to one of the seat controls. Before you just get too wild, disconnect that guy so you don't rip this whole thing out. In the back, you'll notice that there's a little speaker up there. Let me see if I can get some better light. Little speaker. That guy looks like it's just kind of tack welded with some epoxy or something like that, so I just separated it. I'll probably put some new epoxy on it just to connect it back to the rear pillar. But from that point on, that whole back plastic siding should just pull right out. I was kind of worried about the seat, but it has enough access that it'll just slide right past the seat. From there, we're going to go over here to this module. This module is what houses the EVAP, the heater core, and the blower motor. There's a couple of different plugs on it. Disconnect all those guys. I want to say there was maybe 2 or 3 little tiny screws that actually hold this box in. I want to say there's 2 in the top and then 1 down lower off to this side, I believe. Take those guys out, separate it from that duct right there, and it should pop right out. Once you get that out, I've seen many guys, what they'll do is they'll take out all these modules off the side of this box and the blower top, I didn't find that necessary. What I did is I just ended up taking these little tabs off all the way around, separating them, and then that freed me up enough to where I could slide the heater core and the EVAP out. To get them out, you have to take this rear box cover off. You do get 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 screws right there you got to take out. Then this plate comes off. Just be mindful with these little pads. They do tear very easily. Those are there for a reason. You want to save those guys. Once you take those guys off, let's see if I can peel this back. I'm going to show you. There is a little tiny plastic trim piece right here. That guy just kind of locks these two heater core inlet outlets in there. So what you're going to want to do to get those guys off is just put a hex set on this guy and take this, back it out, and that'll free up that little tab. I would be mindful, I made sure I had a little bit of a gap, but when you're tightening this down, it wants to rock back on that pipe. Just make sure you have a little bit of a gap between that so it doesn't rub on that pipe. Once that's complete, you'll take the heater core and the EVAP out. Here's the old EVAP. I noticed I did have a leak. I believe it started up here in the top and worked its way down inside the box. Somebody prior to me had put some leak detector in, so it was pretty obvious. But other than that, it looks pretty good. The new one that I did order, I would recommend going with either a GM or an AC Delco, like one of the higher end ones. You do kind of have to make sure you have the correct part number for this guy. It's kind of inconvenient too, because you don't want to tear the car apart before you order the part, but it is what it is. I got lucky. Rock Auto and Parts Geek, props to you guys. Once you guys get this guy out though, my new AC Delco one did come with new foam around it. You definitely want to make sure that you put that stuff on there. It's a vibration dampening foam, single-sided tape. Get that on the heater core and the EVAP. Helps deal with the vibration. These guys are pretty delicate. Once you get that guy out, slide the heater core out. My heater core looked perfectly fine. I didn't have any issues with it. However, I will say that while you're in here doing this, heater cores go bad. The same thing kind of deal. Mine looked good, but I just went in and threw a fresh one in anyway, just as a peace of mind. They're not bad. They're pretty reasonable. Other than that, I think that was pretty much it with the actual HVAC box. I'll go over some parts numbers. One of the other things that I kind of just do as a habit is a lot of these plugs are in the same area, and you don't want to get, these ones are obviously different size, so it's easy to tell which one goes to which, but I still like to mark them black and gray just to know which one goes in the right slot. Other than that, let's see here. As far as that's concerned, once you get this box ready to come out, before you can take this box out, because the lines are still connected down below, I'll show you how I got those out. I believe you can make access underneath, but it is just a little bit more convenient to make access with taking the tire off. I'm going ahead and pulled this mat out behind it, just halfway, just to get it out of the way. And then once you get that done, you're down here, you can see that you have your two heater core lines. I like to mark those as well so that I know which one goes back to which one. Here's your AC lines, your high pressure and low pressure. This little guy does have a filter in it. Be mindful, those, you can order one. Mine, when I took it out, wasn't very dirty at all, but just to be safe, I went ahead and cleaned it. I found that getting some water, warm water, and I have some of those like metal Yeti straws. They come with pipe cleaners. Those work fantastic. So I got mine right here. Just slides right in that little, I believe that's the high pressure line. Little filter. Mine came out, I mean, absolutely perfectly clean, so it worked out really well. Once that's done, these heater cores, they have a special connection that GM, I believe GM's probably the one that's the famous one for implementing these things. These ones are not hard at all. The front ones that go into the firewall are an absolute nightmare. They have a special key system that you have to squeeze the top two. There's not much room to do it, and then these guys just slide right off. When you take those guys off, you're gonna have to slide these little plastic pieces off of the old heater core. Just pull these little, I don't know if I can really do it here, I'm showing you guys. These little guys right on the side, you just take a screwdriver, pop these up, and it'll slide off the actual heater core piping. Give those guys a clean, slide those ones onto the new ones, and then clip them on. One way that I found, I saw a video where a guy used a set of vice grips and clamped the two tabs at the top of these guys, and it holds them so that you can just pop these right off, and it worked fantastic. So props to that guy. Once you guys get those disconnected, then you're able to actually free up that HVAC box. Once you replace those guys, get it all packaged back up. There is 2 gaskets that come off with this guy. Gonna be 2 O-rings that slide in each one of those EVAP holes. Just make sure you keep this super clean and pop those guys in, get it all tightened back. Once you get done with that, recharge your system. And as far as tools go, I want to say that these black screws that go to the top of the box, I want to say it's a 9/32. The screws that are at the bottom here, right here, these guys are a 7/32. And then this guy right here, take that guy off, that's going to be a 5/32. Other than that, basic tools I used. I don't think there was really anything else. Anyway, hope that helps. Don't buy GMC anymore. They're absolute trash.